Hello and welcome back to Living with Intention. I am April Wyatt, your wellness advocate, and today we're continuing our discussion of bridging the gap between business and spirituality. Yeah, there's something about that. And so I have a question for you, and that is, do you feel that you cannot be your authentic self when you're at work? Or when you're focused on managing your own business? Maybe you feel that there's a duality involved, that you must be one way when you're at work, and then you can be your authentic self or more relaxed state when you're at home or in your personal life or with people that you feel that you can trust, right? So there's a lot of people who believe that there's this duality, and it's due to social norms of not mixing business with pleasure or personal life. And when we continue to live and focus, think about it, 40 plus hours a week in this frame of mind of I can't be my true self, connected to my essence when I'm at work or when I'm doing work, that creates a disconnect, right, to your essence, to who you are. And think about that. You can literally feel it in your body when you leave work or when you shut down your home computer. If you've been in that frame of mind of that duality, right? There's a depletion of your energy. And it can be challenging to find your spark again, your essence. Well, I am here to help you learn how to bring back that balance or bridge that gap between business and spirituality by placing your attention on your intention to living a more relaxed, peaceful, and joyful life while still being able to manage your work. For my next guest of the series, I've invited Sarah Sparks, who is a spiritual business advisor for Create the Spark. Sarah is now a business owner who is no longer ashamed of her spiritual gifts as she works with you to align the soul of your business to the business of your soul. And she teaches you to lead with your soul by listening to your divine guidance. Sarah believes using your intuition in business is a valid way of doing business. And she is here today to provide insights and guidance for us all. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for being here with us today to discuss about building a bridge between spirituality and business life. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to have this conversation. I've noticed a lot of times we as humans get conditioned to compartmentalize our lives. But if we're being our soul, there's no compartments to be in. We can just be our
Yes.
soul in every aspect of our life. So then when we're searching for balance, when we're searching for fulfillment, when we're searching for peace, it's being our soul in every aspect of our life. So yes, I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yes. And that's exactly what I want to talk about is because it seems when we go into work mode or into a different environment where we don't feel safe to be who we are, then that
Mhm.
actually kind of separates us from our soul, as you said, from our spirit, from what call the essence
Mhm.
of of who we are, in our being.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I feel that that kind of fragments us and
Mhm.
that kind of depletes our energy as we go throughout the day. And then we leave the work environment or just even being in the home office, working from home, it just kind of creates that, I don't know, that disconnect from that
Mhm.
part of ourselves.
Mhm. And that brings up an interesting thought. As you're talking, I was receiving it and creating the disconnect, but do we connect in the first place? are we plugged into our soul? And like before we enter this unsafe space, are we connected to the essence of who we are? Have we plugged in to source, our source, first and foremost, in order for us to be that essence, no matter where we're at? So, for instance, even this morning, I walked into the cafeteria of my oldest daughter's getting third grade awards, and I walked into the cafeteria. Typically, with that many people, I would feel quote unquote unsafe because holy buckets, that's a lot of energy to manage, we'll say. But is it really my responsibility to manage other people's energy? No, it's not. And so I'm like, the only thing that I need to do is make sure that I'm plugged into my soul, into my essence. And I know that now I can proudly say this and not be all fidgety about it, but I have seen my soul because I've asked to see my soul. And I saw it come into this body now. And it resided in an angelic realm for over 400 years. And so I have to remember, yes, I'm in this body for right now, but I am hundreds of thousands of years old. I've been here before. I am this angel in this human body. I have wings. So when I connect to, I'm not just her mama. I'm not just his wife. I'm not just a business owner. I'm first and foremost this essence. And then I plugged into that. I be that, and I walk into the room with that. So no matter where I'm at, I can feel safe.
Yes, it's definitely that safety and that
Mm.
knowing of who we are and tapping into that, as you said so perfectly.
That takes a lot of practice because that is being committed to, and I would like to say I am more dedicated to being my soul than to my fears. And so a lot of times, or my limitations or beliefs. And so I have had to work really hard. It has not been easy to step into the essence of who you are, to be confident in who I am. And I know that if I am just being me, no matter where I'm at, business comes in, friendships comes in, opportunities come in. It just happens. And I make myself open and available because I am the strong essence of who I am, but it has taken quite a bit of work. I remember in 2010, I moved to Florida to start my new life with my now husband. And we went to a conference in New Orleans, and someone met me there. And I had just started figuring out who I am. It wasn't, oh, this is my soul and I was an angel. I'm like, I would never, I was like, my name is Sarah. Like I would go on interviews, trying to find jobs. And when people are like, so tell me a bit about yourself, I'm like, I'm Sarah. Like I couldn't tell you anything. And I remember then seeing the same woman. So she saw me in May of 2010, and then let's say 2013, 14, when I was beginning to step into me. And she's like, you're a completely different person, but it's so much work to be done. I think that that's sometimes what people don't see.
Mm.
They see me now, and some people who know me in like high school were like, well, you've always been this way. Not really. Not really. Internally, I have not always been this way, you know? So I always like to just insert that because it comes across as, yeah, just be your soul. I mean, come on, just be that. It's really easy. But it takes dedication and focus and
Yes. Yes, most definitely the dedication and commitment. For me, it was about the awareness, just being aware of when I felt that
hmm,
um, disassociation, or when I went into the 9 to 5 job. And as I was going through the doors, even just feeling that energy just kind of shrinking within me because I didn't make that connection to my essence and then just hold true to that throughout the day. I would actually, without even knowing it, give permission to others to intrude into my energy, or even when somebody was sharing something about their own experiences, or uh, for example, talking about their partners, or and it seems to be kind of on a negative light, like, and then I would walk away feeling, ugh, what just happened? Is I allowed them to have that, kind of resonate in my space. And so now I'm very aware, and it's that awareness with my body. Like, I'm tuning into my body, and if I'm feeling something, my heart's open now, right? My throat is open. I'm just like, yes, we're having this amazing conversation with Sarah. It's safe. This is exciting. It's playful. It's happy, joy. And then when I'm very aware when it isn't in that space,
Mm-hmm.
and then just bringing myself back to me, back to my essence, remembering that part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with maybe even some body awareness techniques just to, bring me back.
Yeah. And not everyone needs to see all of you. No,
Mm.
not everyone is remotely in the vibrational realm. I mean, like, not even realm, because that makes it sound like we have different realms that we live in. Vibrational alignment by
Ah,
frequency, the same.
yeah.
Like, if you're talking about certain things, and I was there once, I remember a friend and I sitting at a bar, and she was talking about this holistic approach to childbirth that she was going through and how she was experiencing things with her children. I could not comprehend it. My brain could not understand what she was talking about. It was literally like she was talking a different language. I remember a professor in college talking about oneness and having intentional conversations. I had no idea what she was talking about. So reverse it. Now I am in that spot, and not everyone who may not ever understand
Hmm.
doesn't need to see all of me and all of my and get to experience all of my energy and my light and this angelic me, because they won't understand it. And so I don't have to like spew it out on them.
Exactly. And I think that's important when people can still hold their essence or stay connected to their higher power, whatever they call it,
Mhm.
while they're in the work environment, or while they're out and about, like you said, in the cafeteria. As long as they, put their attention on their intention of what it is they're wanting to stay true to themselves, in that environment. It's not about pushing spirituality on others. And that way, if they behave this way or they have the same ideas as me, then that's okay. And we're living in a cohesive environment. It's more about us, about you, and how we, or an individual, I should say,
Mhm.
holds that for themselves.
It's really helpful to understand your soul, because then you can, it's like returning home.
Mhm.
It's like home base. And so no matter where you're at, you can be you. And then once you can anchor into you and your essence, then you can build upon it. Like, how do you then connect to your undefined guidance? And I can always share, I'll share it now. If there's freebies I have and everything, it's like how you connect with your own essence. How do you talk with your soul? How do you have those conversations with spirit, God, source, creator, whatever? And it is 5 steps. It's allow, ask, receive, trust, and act. For each of them, I have tools and tips and techniques and meditations and all the things. But if you follow those 5 steps in that order, that will also be beneficial to you continually being able to connect with your essence, no matter where you're at. Um, giving
Right.
yourself, and one other thing is just giving yourself permission
Hmm.
to connect wherever you're at. And one major thing that people usually come to me, and they don't necessarily say these words, but what I find is that there is some shame that they are carrying, or guilt in being able to have such an easy life, to be able to connect so easily, to
Hmm.
be able to have these gifts, and maybe other people around them or that they've grown up with don't have these gifts, or they may have the thoughts, am I weird, am I crazy, did this really happen, and they start questioning their gifts. And so there's
Yes.
a level of shame and guilt that people end up coming to me and working through in order to be that divine channel. So if I could say another tip is just give yourself permission to connect all the time. Give yourself permission to be your soul. And the last thing I would say is just stay curious. So you're curious. That's what I did. And it was just
I say that all the time. Be
it,
curious,
yeah.
right?
And I was just like, how do I connect? I would go on an intuitive walk, and no one told me to do it. I just did it.
Yeah. And so I want to go just backwards just a
Yeah.
little bit to talk about the business and spirituality. So people that are working a 9 to 5 job and they feel, again, as I said in the very beginning, like they feel drained as they walked out because they're not keeping true to their essence, to who they are, and that they feel they feel that they're surrounded by people who don't understand them, or they're just really. I'm asking this because I'm working with a community right now, just saying out loud, and there's a lot of, pressure, a lot of things to do and to complete tasks and get things done. So how can they use their spirituality, use that essence to help support them so they don't feel so, uh, you know,
Yep. So first and foremost, plug yourself in to divine, to source, to your soul, whatever you call it. Plug yourself in. Literally, I imagine that I have a plug-in and I'm plugging into source. I do something in the morning. I lit candles this morning. Like I have sage, I have little mantras. I do something right away before I sit down and start working, because as a business owner, I have a lot of tasks. And so, and I'm a solopreneur, so I do it all currently. And so I have a lot of tasks. I make sure that I plug myself into my soul and to divine source right away. Then I start asking questions. Clarity is in the question. So there's a lot of tasks laid
oh,
out
say
before
that
you.
again. Say that again.
Clarity is in the question. And I have a whole document that I'm preparing, and I'm either going to give it away for free or going to sell it, because it is all the questions that I ask, how I arrange marketing material, how I project income, how I have formed business plans, how I have gotten to know my own soul, what to wear, what does the body look like that my soul wants to be housed in, meaning what are the foods, what is the movement, what is the water intake. Everything is connected to my soul, and I base all the questions. So clarity is in the question. So you have all these tasks laid out in front of you. Connecting to divine guidance, you plug in, where should I begin today? What is the
Mm,
first task? What does my day look like? Who do I need to connect with? What do I need to share? I'm going into a meeting now. What is the topics I need to cover? How should I run this meeting if you're a leader? How should I run this meeting? What are the questions? What is the outline? Type it up beforehand. You don't have to do it 5 seconds before you go in. You can do it whenever you want. I have a whole way of aligning the soul of one's business with the business of the soul. So for the business owners, for the leaders of an organization, what is the department? What is the energy of the department? Do we even have do we even have an understanding that businesses, departments, people have an essence, have an energy of themselves? And there are 4 different elements that I align with that, and I form all marketing materials and income projections around divine. So it is asking the right questions, knowing then how you receive, trusting that, and taking action immediately. Universe loves action. It
mm,
loves momentum. A constant in motion stays in motion. So as soon as
yes.
we start questioning things, we're not trusting, and then the universe has to go and conspire on our behalf to go to one point A, B, C, D until we're like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yes, we get in our own way when we start questioning in an uncertain way,
Yeah,
you know. Yeah,
yeah.
having that uncertainty and an apprehension about it.
I schedule everything into my calendar. So people are also like, oh, that's very like doing masculine things there. I was like, yeah, but I asked divine first and foremost, okay, what does my day look like? Just channeled it for summer. And was like, what are the hours? What does my morning look like? Because it's going to look different. Both kids are going to be home. What does each of my days look like? What are the topics? Who are the people? What is going on? I schedule out, and I don't want to show because there's people's names on here, but like I schedule out every single session, every interview, every conversation, every practice, every call, every coffee chat. Everything goes on my calendar. Even like each task, like if I needed to schedule an email to send out next week, I put it on my calendar. Everything is scheduled on my calendar with a lot of time. And it's all but divine. Like, okay, so soul, divine, when should I be having this meeting? Where should I go? Should I be showing up to this network meeting? Who do I need to meet? Like before I go into a networking meeting, okay, you have me assigned, like I have divine assignments each day. Okay, you want me here. Who do you want me to connect with? So those
Yeah.
are lots of examples of how I live both business doing-ish energy and beingness energy.
Yeah, and that was great to hear because you said in the very beginning, like you set your intention, you're lighting your candles or you're meditating or saying a prayer, whatever that is,
Mhm.
plugging in. I so love that visualization of just plugging in and then pausing and then asking the questions, and not questioning the what you get back either. It's like, well, I thought it was going to be this. Why that? And that's perfect. I'm just going to share really quick with you all here listening and watching that our interview just popped up. Like we were supposed to have a little chat, Sarah and I today. And Sarah's like, yeah, what's the information on the interview tomorrow? And I'm like, well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just go with it and see what happens. So me getting out of the way and with curiosity saying, yeah, let's just see how this unpacks with Sarah today or tomorrow. And here we are. So that's all divine timing. It's all just allowing and giving yourself permission to let go of needing to control a lot of things too. Yes.
That
And
has
then
been
And the
something
big
that I have.
thing, the big thing is also, Sarah, as you were sharing about pausing and being there and asking those questions and, doing your best to tune in, that's also allowing, if people need to hear the science behind it, your autonomic nervous system to relax, to get out of the fight, flight, or freeze of, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, all this overwhelm and all these tasks, and I don't know how I'm going to get through it today. And, just those thoughts, those ruminating thoughts that happen. So you so perfectly described just pausing and being there and listening and also listening. How does it feel, as you're looking at each of them. So that it really empowers us. It really gives us back that connection to ourselves, to our essence, and just trusting in the process.
Mhm.
So, Sarah, can they find those resources on your website?
Yes, yep. I have a whole bunch of free resources. I got free downloads on the homepage, but then there's just a page dedicated to free resources. So, yep, feel free to hop on over and enjoy.
So, those who are curious and have more questions for you,
Mhm.
what is your contact information? How can they reach out to you?
They can go to my website. All connections to social media and also email is on there. It is sarahsparks.love. So SARAHSPARKS.love.
LOVE.
Yep. Mm.
Wonderful. Well, it was such a pleasure having you here, Sarah. You are a spark of energy, and I look forward to connecting with you in the future.
Ditto. Thank you for having me.
Great. Yes, and those of you who are inspired by this podcast or this YouTube video, please hit subscribe, right? And add a comment. Let Sarah and I know what you enjoyed about this conversation or any questions that you may have. Or I'm curious if you will share how you are connecting to your essence and allowing yourself to work through your day. So until next time, my friends, be well.